Good morning, everyone. I acknowledge, of course, all the ministers of government who are in attendance, members of the cabinet, and all other distinguished persons who are there. Of course, the media. I know you're very much here, and so I greet you this morning. As Minister just mentioned to you, Minister Samuda, we have this system, which is Tropical Storm Melissa, that developed yesterday over the waters of the Caribbean, over the central Caribbean Sea, actually. Now, this is some distance to the south of Hispaniola, over 1,000 miles south of Hispaniola. However, the system is moving toward the west generally, and it is also expected to continue this motion for some while longer before taking more of a turn toward the west northwest and then to the northwest. So it's making a slight curve, expected to move closer and closer to the island of Jamaica over the next few days. The system is moving quite slowly at this time. Initially, it was moving at relatively normal speed in the Caribbean, but it has slowed down significantly, and this is what was projected by the models. However, there had been quite a bit of disparity with respect to the various models that people have been looking at in terms of what the projected track of the system would have been. The latest, though, is that the consensus model is indicating that the system will continue to move closer to Jamaica, and then it will more or less move toward the west, some distance away from the southern coastline. So it is expected to move parallel to the southern coast, moving past Jamaica, basically. That's the center of the system. Now, this is the main projected track, but this doesn't necessarily mean that this is exactly where the system will go. If you have been looking at any of those, what is referred to as a cone, that would indicate, the area that the track is likely to move into, you generally see a circle that encapsulates Jamaica. Jamaica would be in the midst of that circle. Now, it means that the center of the system could actually move in any position in that circle. So there is still some possibility of the system actually making a landfall in Jamaica. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what will happen. What you see on your pictures right now in terms of those black circles that indicate the actual position that are being projected for this storm is that it will move closer to the island, then turn toward the west and staying south of the country. That is where the general forecast is. This would mean, however, that the system will continue to strengthen because it is moving so fast. The strengthening is even more likely to take place with it having that period of time. However, there are a few factors that are preventing fast development of the system. It is, however, expected to become a hurricane, and this is likely to occur sometime by Friday as we go into the weekend. Now, the system will begin most likely to impact Jamaica as early as Thursday, which is tomorrow. We should be getting rainfall from the system at that time. We continue to have the country under a tropical storm watch. That is what is there now. It's not a warning, but a watch. And that means that tropical storm conditions are possible within 48 hours. So as the system continues to move closer to us, we do expect that gradually we will start to see the increase in rainfall occurring on Thursday. Late on Thursday, there is the possibility of sections of the country, primarily the area closest to the center of the system, starting to be impacted by some tropical storm conditions. That is what is expected at this time. Of course, I did mention that the system is expected to continue to strengthen. So while it is moving toward the west over the waters south of the island, there is a good chance that this system will develop into a hurricane. That is what is expected. As the system becomes a hurricane, which is likely to take place on the weekend, it will continue to move, and there is now the possibility that it will also become a major hurricane while it is over the waters south of us. It is some distance from us, not expected to make that landfall, although there is that remote possibility of it, but it will remain a major hurricane off the coast. But that means that we could start to experience some stronger winds associated with the system as it moves past. The rainfall, however, is likely to cover most of the island. Eastern parishes are most at risk, and also southern sections of the country. On the chart that you're seeing now, it shows that the eastern end of the island could have up to anywhere between 8 and 12 inches of rainfall. Now, that is significant rainfall, and that is the main thing that we need to be mindful of at this time, that there is significant rainfall associated with this system. It is noteworthy that the larger area of showers and thunderstorms associated with the system is occurring on the right side of the center. So as the system moves over the waters to the south, the right side of that system would be over Jamaica. And so the heavier rainfall is expected in that area. You know that we've been having weeks of rainfall, quite a bit of rainfall over sections of the country, which means that saturation would be reached very quickly. And so flooding is going to be something that we will have to be looking out for. It's quite likely that the Met Service will include in the bulletins that are being issued at this time flash flood warnings for sections of the island as that situation develops. As it is now, there is a tropical storm some distance from the coast. It is expected to move closer to the island. We do expect that we will start to experience rainfall starting on Thursday. We do expect that later on Thursday we could start to experience the kinds of winds that are associated with tropical storms. And then as we go through the weekend, we could see that system further increasing in intensity. However, it's most likely that the center would be off the coast to the south.